The White House glows orange in the dusk sky. Inside, President John F. Kennedy leans back in his chair. A secret CIA report lands on his desk. Subversion of human personality. The date: November 1963. For JFK, this won't be just another boring report. It will be a ticket to a rabbit hole he never expected. The document tells him about top-secret experiments on unsuspecting citizens. They've been dosed with LSD, put under hypnosis, and some have even vanished without a trace. The question is, what did they discover, and why is it being kept hidden? We're about to take you on a wild ride through Project MKUltra ULL. Meet men who disappear only to reappear years later with no memory of where they've ever been. You'll see how scientists played God, experimenting with powerful drugs like LSD. And you'll learn about the dark side of the CIA, an organization capable of unspeakable things in the name of national security. The plot is thick, the stakes are high, and the conspiracy goes deeper than you can imagine. Are you ready to dive in? In the early days of the Cold War, the world stood on edge. America and the Soviet Union faced off in a tense game of nuclear chicken. The Soviets claimed they developed a way to control people's minds, turning them into sleeper agents without them even realizing it. The Americans were skeptical but intrigued. If true, it could change the game in the battle of communism versus democracy. The CIA jumped into action. Secret projects were initiated, and a race against time began. They needed proof that brainwashing worked. They needed to understand how it worked, and most importantly, they needed to find a way to counter it. Enter the infamous Project MKUltra. Sounds like something straight out of a spy movie, right? Well, this is real history, and the story only gets crazier from here. MKUltra was the CIA's top secret plan to unlock the secrets of mind control, and it wasn't your average research project. They weren't studying the effects of caffeine on lab rats. They were messing with human minds. Real human minds. From 1953 to 1973, hundreds of unsuspecting people were secretly experimented on. They were given drugs like LSD, subjected to electroshock therapy, and put under hypnosis. All of this was done without their knowledge or consent. These weren't just numbers in a lab. They were real people with families, dreams, and a right to privacy. Imagine waking up one day to find out that someone had been messing with your mind behind your back. That's exactly what these poor souls had to deal with. One of the most common methods used in Project MKUltra was the use of LSD. That's right, the same drug that's known for its mind-altering effects. The CIA wanted to know how it could be used as a weapon. They tested different doses, different ways of administering the drug, and even studied its effects on people with mental health issues. The results were often unpredictable and sometimes dangerous. But hey, in the name of science, right? Another popular method was hypnosis. The CIA experimented with using hypnosis to control people's behavior to make them more susceptible to suggestions. They even created special devices to help hypnotize people more effectively. Can you imagine the ethical implications of that? But it gets even crazier. The CIA also experimented with electroshock therapy. Now, if you're not familiar with electroshock therapy, it's a form of treatment that's used to help people with severe mental health issues. It works by sending an electric current through the brain. The CIA wasn't trying to help anyone. They were trying to control them. They wanted to know if they could use electroshock therapy to make people more suggestible or even turn them into traitors. The whole project was shrouded in secrecy. Doctors, scientists, and analysts were recruited and sworn to secrecy. Any information about the project was classified and locked away. The people being experimented on had no idea what was happening to them. They were basically lab rats in a maze, except instead of cheese at the end of the maze, they were getting LSD and electroshock therapy. As the years went on, the CIA became more and more brazen with their experiments. They started targeting people in positions of power, people like government officials and members of the military. They wanted to know if they could turn these people into sleeper agents, people who could carry out missions without anyone knowing. They also wanted to see if they could make people forget things, to erase memories and create false identities. This was the stuff of spy movies, not reality. But believe me, this is all real. Now, You might be wondering why the CIA was doing all of this? What was the point of Project MKUltra? Well, the answer is simple. They were trying to win the war against communism. They believed that the Soviets had developed a way to control people's minds, and they wanted to know if they could do it too. They saw mind control as the ultimate weapon, a way to get inside people's heads and turn them into puppets. Whether it was to gather secrets from enemies or to have sleeper agents ready to strike at a moment's notice, the possibilities seemed endless. But as we all know, nothing good ever comes from playing God. Project MKUltra was a complete disaster. Not only did they fail to create a working mind control device, they also violated the rights of hundreds of innocent people. These weren't just numbers in a lab. They were real people who suffered real consequences. Some of them ended up in mental hospitals, others couldn't remember their loved ones, and some simply vanished. You might be wondering what happened to the people involved in Project MKUltra after it was shut down in 1973? Well, the answer is a bit complicated. When the project was canceled, most of the files were destroyed. The CIA didn't want the world to know what they had been up to, so they tried to cover it up. But as with all conspiracies, there were loose ends. Some whistleblowers came forward, revealing the truth about MKUltra. But even their stories were often incomplete. The CIA had done such a good job of covering up their tracks that there were very few people who knew the full story. Now, before we move on, let's talk about something important. This isn't just a story from the past. It's a story that affects us all. It shows how far the government is willing to go to protect its secrets, even if it means violating people's rights or putting their lives at risk. It also shows how easy it is for us to get caught up in the idea of playing God, of thinking that we re-smarter than nature, and that we can control things that are beyond our control. As we come to the end of this journey, I want you to remember one thing. The story of MKUltra is a reminder for all of us. It's a reminder to be careful of the things we play with, the secrets we keep, and the power we wield. So ask yourself, what secrets are you keeping? What power do you have in your hands? And are you ready to face the consequences? Because believe me, they will come. And if you want to continue learning about the dark side of history, click on the video shown on your screen. There you'll find more intriguing stories that will keep you on the edge of your seat. It's time to uncover more truths and explore more mysteries. So go on, click that video, and let the adventure continue. See you there.